guess we're gonna do another one just to show you guys. We're back. We have Tommy's rotor getting the scallops. We're gonna do a street port with these scallops, which give it the sound of a bridge port. Mike already did one side, so now we're gonna show you the other side. We're hoping after this engine from Tommy, Mike can finally get a bigger shot. So now we're gonna do the clearancing, the side clearancing. So one side's already done. There's the steps to do the second side.
It's got some YouTube cred. This is the base clearance. Now we're gonna come back in and take some more material off of it, so that the tips have some extra clearance. Alright, that's all done. Gotta deburr it and scallop it.
We're gonna check the balancing after the scalloping and after the side clearancing. So he already removed the oil slinger, so we're gonna see these modifications, how far off it throws the balancing.
It shouldn't be much because it's all very even, so whatever was already in there from the factory should be about the same.
.32, 2.28. So now he knows where to remove that from. So that's like, it's really not that far off. It's within spec of Mazda, but not rotary sign spec. So he's gonna get it straightened out. Alright, so now that we spun it, he already marked it and we're gonna remove weight off that spot so we can get it to be perfectly balanced. We already have weight removed. Now we're just gonna spin it again, see how close it is.
Yeah, I'll get it under a gram or around a gram, and then I'll work it in by hand on the mandrel, because every time you take it off and put it back on, it changes just slightly.
You know, most of the time when you're saying stuff like this, when the machine's running, I just cut it off.
It's fine.
That's pretty close.
Yeah.
Now he's just gonna finish it off by hand. Steady hand, Mike. Keep a steady hand. Alright. So that's both under a gram.
Yeah, we're gonna clean them up a little bit more though.
A little bit more, do another spin, and that should be it. So this is the last spin on Tommy's rotors. So, all under a gram.
Ha! Take that, Mazda.
So, both of them are perfectly weight matched.
Four, two, two, one.
When before they were how far off?
4, 2, 2, 1.
Okay, perfect.
So, yeah, they were 8 grams off of each other
Yeah.
before. They used to be 4,366 and 58 grams.
Okay. Alright, so Mike is... I heard I say so too much.
I saw that. There's a whole fucking thread on it.
Yeah. You gotta take shots every time I say so. Alright, you guys. We're gonna balance Tommy's assembly. You guys can see that everything's new on this. So, damn it, I said so again. We're gonna see how the assembly is right now. So this is not, we already did the Mazda Spec one, which was...
It was decent.
Yeah. So there's balancing tolerances from factory for like, you know, an 8,000 RPM motor, and then there's tolerances for motors that rep higher, and that's what we're doing.
Tommy's motor, we scalloped it and we clearanced it so the rotors don't weigh what they weigh from the factory anymore. And I got the last one on the lathe over there, and we'll show you how I take the weight out of the center of them to get them all the same weight. And that's weight matching. That's really important for balancing. So like if you took an A weight rotor and an E weight rotor and you put them together in an assembly and you didn't do anything else to it, the motor would just shake itself to death. So it's important that the rotors are the same weight, because part of the dynamics of it is the rotors are balancing each other in the assembly.
Yep. So we already got the new counterweight. So they had a manual counterweight. We're going with the automatic one. It's gonna give us the options of putting whatever lightweight flywheels he wants to do. We're gonna see a big difference in weight right now of imbalance because we modified the rotors and we replaced the rear counterweight. So this is brand new, never been touched.
Yeah. The rear weight, we have no clue where it's gonna be at. This one was 6 grams too heavy from Mazda for the balance we had set up earlier. And now it should be less, or should be more out of balance than it was before.
So what I want to emphasize right here is a lot of people buy aftermarket clutches and they put ACT counterweights or Mazda counterweights, like automatic ones, on a motor that's never been balanced for it. So right now we're going to show you the difference in balance from just throwing a counterweight on and putting an aftermarket flywheel on, which is, like, a lot of people don't know, that causes engine problems with the balance, and you're changing the whole balance of the engine by putting a counterweight and not taking it apart and balancing. So either if your engine already has a manual flywheel, you cannot replace that with an automatic counterweight without having it properly balanced first.
If you've got, if you take apart an automatic engine that you're going to, from the same series that you're going to be using the automatic rear weight from, and you weigh all of the rotors and all the rotors weigh the same, you could use that rear counterweight. But that's a lot to go through.
Yeah, but it's just a lot of people, you know, it's like, let's say I build an engine for a car, everything is like how it came, factory balance, all that stuff, which is not bad, and then you buy an automatic counterweight and you put a lightweight flywheel on. We're going to show you what the difference in balance is from that.
Yeah, the ACT and the aftermarket ones aren't necessarily balanced for any specific engine. They have a couple of different weights of the ACT ones, and by far out of the aftermarket ones, the ACTs are the best, but the factory Mazda ones I've never had a problem with. The ACTs I've never had a problem with, but your cheapo eBay ones could be like 100 grams too heavy, and as soon as you turn the motor on, your whole car is going to shake. So just do what's right.
Let's spin it. And then if I remember correctly, before it was how many grams on the rear?
6 in the front and 13 in the rear.
So that's what it was with the stock flywheel. Now we're gonna see what it is with an automatic counterweight.
Watch it be like perfect.
Yeah. So, see, that's what we're talking about. We took a motor that was balanced from the factory with the stock flywheel, and we put a Mazda OEM counterweight, and that proves that it throws off the balance. So stop putting aftermarket flywheels on your car and just throwing counterweights without having the engine properly balanced in the beginning for it. Every time we do a build and somebody wants to balance it, Mike always balances it with an automatic counterweight. That way, if your flywheel ever gets damaged, you don't compromise the balance of the engine by putting another flywheel on it, you know?
Yeah.
You can just swap them with this.
I can also balance your flywheel, your aftermarket flywheel, because some of them, like the eBay ones, are all junk, but they can be balanced and they'll be fine. But you don't balance it with the assembly. because then that flywheel has to stay on that bolt pattern in that assembly for the rest of forever. So it's
So
just not the right way.
it's like a waste of balancing like later on. Tommy's engine, you know, we could have balanced it with the stock flywheel. I think that he's gonna do OS Geiken twin disc, and an OS Geiken twin disc requires him to have an automatic counterweight. So us balancing the engine with the stock flywheel and then him replacing it with a counterweight that comes with the OS Geiken kit, it's gonna throw off the balance by over 15 grams. It threw it off.
Yeah. About that.
And that is not Mazda spec anymore. That's way off. So that engine's not gonna last at all. Don't swap your flywheels out on engines that have already been balanced from the factory or aftermarket. Like, don't do that.
Okay, so now we're gonna drill some weight out of this counterweight where the balancing program tells us to. I'll leave it a little bit heavy in the rear, go to the front, correct the front, and then come back to the rear to finish it off. Some safety glasses.
I don't know if you guys heard the table vibrating. Is that bad? So
Took about 5 grams out, so we just got to keep splitting the difference on the center here.
So it's a lot of weight, so we just gotta keep taking it off. So a little bit better. All right, we have the final spin on it. Mike already took all the weight out that he needed to on all the precise spots. And the final numbers are all under a gram. So, oh yeah, under half a gram. So get hyped, Tommy. You're gonna have a high revving scallop street port 13B on the Dream FD. So you guys remember there was some lines on the shaft, nothing crazy, but we're just gonna go ahead and polish this up to start from zero. All right, so that's it, all polished up, ready to put back into the engine.